Hello everyone, today we're going to discuss dedicated lanes and if you as an independent truck dispatcher should be finding those for your clients. So first let's determine what is a dedicated lane. A dedicated lane is basically a regular freight that departs from point A and gets delivered to point B. For example, a load that leaves Atlanta every day, every morning, let's say, and delivers in Charlotte every afternoon is a dedicated lane. And in many cases, shippers would like a particular motor carrier to handle this kind of freight. Another term we need to discuss before we move forward is contract market versus spot market. So, spot market is what most independent truck dispatchers are working with. It's basically they go to the load boards and they find freight that someone needs transported at this particular moment. Okay, there's no regularity to it. Okay, if a auto parts manufacturer needs to ship something today, they give it to their freight broker and their freight broker posts it on the load board. Then your client can pick it up and deliver it somewhere. But there is no guarantee that the same load will be going out tomorrow or a week from now, or again, there is no regularity. Contract freight, on the other hand, is something that is being shipped regularly, and the shipper wants to make sure that their cargo will be transported on the regular basis. This is very important, especially in production cycles when, when product or parts has to be delivered to the receiver on a regular basis to keep their production going. So, in order to ensure this, shipper wants to sign a contract with a trucking company or a freight broker, which will guarantee them an available capacity, or meaning available trucks that will be picking up their freight on scheduled time, on scheduled dates, and delivering it where it should be delivered. So, as you can see, dedicated lanes will be falling in the category of contract freight, and they would not be falling in a category of a spot market freight. Now, why are we even discussing dedicated lanes? Well, you as an independent truck dispatcher will encounter those questions from your potential clients. When your potential clients start calling you, very often you will hear them asking, hey, can you get me a dedicated lane? Do you have any dedicated opportunities? And the reason this question is being asked is because a lot of motor carriers don't really understand what dedicated lanes are and what is required in order to service those dedicated lanes. Motor carriers just assume that this would be very convenient. They would be running from the same shipper to the same receiver, potentially coming home daily or every other day. They would it would be secure, they would know what they're doing, they would know how much money they're making, and it would be just a fantastic thing for them to do. What they don't realize is that in order to get those dedicated lanes, they have to provide two things. One of them is a certain level of capacity, meaning a certain number of trucks that can service this dedicated lane. And second is that they have to bid or offer their lowest possible rate to this shipper. Because unlike with the spot market, when something needs to be moved and depending on the truck to load ratio, on any current day you can negotiate rates with freight brokers. Here on the dedicated lanes, a lot of different motor carriers are making bids. They all want this regular business. And motor carrier, which offers the lowest possible rate, usually gets the lane. And a lot of your potential clients will not know this. They assume that there is this mysterious contract freight out there that pays really great money, but they just can't get to it. They don't realize that contract freight works differently. And in most cases, they may not even want to deal with it, even if they could get it. So when I get asked, hey, can you guys offer any kind of dedicated opportunities? I go ahead and ask this potential client, how many trucks do you have? In most cases, it's 1, 2, 3 trucks. And I explain to them that it's going to be hard for the shipper to accept a motor carrier with the small number of trucks. Because if truck breaks down, you have 1 truck and it breaks down, then their contracted freight is not going to get picked up because you don't have a replacement for it. So they wouldn't feel secure offering you this type of a contract opportunity. And then I also tell them, well, what is the lowest rate are you willing to accept? And they say, well, no, I want this high rate. I say, well, you need to understand, you're going to be competing against J.B. Hunt's, Schneider's, and many other large trucking companies which want to get this dedicated freight. And competing with them is pretty hard because, they buy equipment at a huge discount, which a smaller motor carrier cannot do. They're self-insured, so they don't pay for the insurance, which small motor carriers do. So they can afford to run for less when you compare them with a smaller motor carrier. So outbid them on the lowest acceptable rate is very hard. And this, where I explain to them that working in the spot market may be beneficial to them because they will get the highest possible rates that we can get from the market. Yes, we don't know what kind of load they're going to hold tomorrow, but we can with certain accuracy predict that they can generate certain amount of gross at certain average rate per mile. And this is what they want to know. And this is how we kind of end the conversation about dedicated lanes. Also, there are some regular opportunities on the spot market as well. Okay, they're not exactly contract freight, so nobody would be contracting with you or your client, to provide a truck on a regular basis. But they may offer you a load that is going out from, again, point A on certain days, as long as they know that your client has a truck and provides good service. I had a client out of Charleston who was leaving Charleston every Monday morning. And there was a load which we have done once or twice. And then broker just asked if we're always available on Mondays in Charleston, which we were. So even before this broker would post this load, he would email us on Friday and say, hey, on Monday, are you guys going to pick up this load? Yes, fantastic. So we got a regular opportunity. It wasn't really a dedicated lane or a contracted freight, but it was a regular freight opportunity for our client, which we got just because he's in a certain location on certain days. So to summarize, okay, it is not about if you can find dedicated lanes for your clients. It's a question if your clients can handle dedicated lanes. And in reality, in most cases, they cannot. So you should explain it to them, instead of just telling them, oh no, I don't have any dedicated opportunities, and they just hang up on you and call somebody else. You should educate them and tell them, look, it's possible, but you have to fulfill certain requirements to do so. And if you don't, we may have much better opportunities for you on the spot market, and we can make you more money this way. And hopefully this will convince this particular potential client to become an actual paying client for you. And with all that being said, we are going to wrap up this video, and I will see you next time.